Hey, this video is for David. This is a custom-made sheath for a Leatherman and the toolkit, the bit set, and a mag flashlight. I'm actually not finished with the pouch yet, but I wanted to give you a quick video update and kind of explain to you also what kind of slowed me down a little bit. So this was the original design. This isn't cut out. Basically, these flaps will all be cut out for each pouch. But I don't know if you remember, but on the original sketch, each flap was even with each other, and they will be when I get done. But what happened was this was the original flashlight holder that I had pre-molded, and I had set it up here, you know, where this one is. And what I realized was two things. One is that the flashlight head, the LED version, is actually quite large, and so instead of being able to move this up higher, because the way the flashlight works, it had to sit lower. And during the assembly part, as I was getting ready to finish or start stitching, it occurred to me that the snaps, which are here, would not reach this part. So what I ended up having to do, well, it took me a little while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So basically, what I ended up doing was I made another wet mold cylinder, but I added a flap here, and the flap then allows the snap to be higher, and actually, I don't know if you can tell or not, but they're all lined up here. So when I start to work on this top part, and I start cutting the cutting each flap out here, ideally we'll have three nice snaps, and it'll have a symmetrical look. The only other thought I had when I was trying to figure out the solution to this was to actually cut this flap off and attach a longer one that would actually snap down here. But then you'd have two flaps here and then a really long piece. And the only other concern, disadvantage of doing that is that the snap itself would have then been set on a curved cylinder. And let me see if I can get the camera angle here. And so to set a snap on a curved cylinder like that, they don't always set very well, and it may have pulled the mold flat on where the snap was. So really, I think this was the best solution. It did take me probably a week or so to kind of experiment with this and trying to figure out how I wanted it to go. One other thing this is all stitched. I'm gonna go back and finish up dyeing or touching up. When you use a awl to punch the holes, sometimes the natural leather can start to show a little bit. So I'm gonna go back up and touch everything up. So if you see any concerns with the dye, not to worry. So here are the belt snaps, the belt flaps. They're basically, there's 4 rivets holding the top piece. Let me see if I can get that. 4 rivets. And I like to make this kind of a wet molded curve because what it allows you to do is actually slip the belt in, and it creates a nice rest basically for the belt. So it doesn't create too much of a pulling effect. Some of the original Leatherman sheaths and some of the sheets you see are basically just a strap, two rivets, just a thin strap. But what that does is, especially on the top, is it starts to pull a lot, and it can weaken that spot. So I like to make it like this, this is what I had in the sketch. If you remember, the computer generated one. So yeah, this should allow you to slip this on to really almost a 2-inch belt. There's a nice clearance right here. But yeah, that's the back, which is which basically needs just a dye touch up and a little bit more finishing. And I'll show you the edge really quick. So this is actually, if you can tell, this is actually 3 layers of leather that I burnished together, and the 3 layers are basically this top flap is a one single piece. this piece, and then on the inside, it's lined so that the rivets that are all on the back here are actually covered. It allows you to, it gives a little bit smoother smoother feel to when you're pushing and pulling the Leatherman or the bit kit in and out. So yeah. So anyway, that's 3 layers of leather. I did burnish and smooth it out. I'll probably go back over it again. I don't know if I can focus here. It's starting to get dark. But yeah. So that's the bottom. And basically, this this piece goes in and tucks between the two pieces, and it's all stitched in right here. It's all stitched in on the inside part, if you can tell. I apologize for the lighting. I'm shooting during the evening outside. So anyway, yeah, that was the flashlight was figuring out this configuration took me a little bit of time. So basically now all that's left is to cut out and form the flaps for each pouch section, and basically retouch it again. And then the last piece of the project is to make the elastic bit kit holder. So I have the wood block that I had used to form the square. So I will show you really quick. The block is in really max dimensions for both the Leatherman and the bit kit. So right now it's a tight fit, and I'll show you really quick. It goes in, pretty. You can see it right there. But to get it out right now, it takes a little bit of jiggling. But my suggestion to you is, well, 2 things. One is after use, this will actually it will actually loosen up quite a bit. And then wow, okay, it's kind of hard to get it pulled out from this angle. But really, neither piece, the Leatherman or the bit kit, is going to be this thickness and this width. The bit kit will be this width across, but it will only be 1/2 inch, and this is 3/4. So when you have the bit kit in the slot, you will have play this way, because this is 3/4 inch, and the bit kit is I think 1/2 inch basically, back to back. And then same thing for this. The Leatherman is actually not, the surge is not this width across. This is the width for the bit kit that I had accounted for, but it is this thick, which is I believe it was 3/4. Well, at least that's why I shaped it to. It might have been 7/8. But so when the Leatherman is in here, when the Leatherman's in there, this way across, you'll have play. You'll have a little bit of play. It won't be so tight. This pocket, I was more mindful of the stitching, so it's a little bit easier to pull out. I did also add, if you can see or not, compared to the last video, I did add these thumb cutouts just to make it easier to grab the piece, the piece out. But like I said, it shouldn't be that stiff on the original hardware, on the Leatherman or the bit kit. And if it is, really, this is freshly made. After about a month or so, it really should soften up. If you want to soften it up more, you can put some neat's foot oil, or even just work the leather over a little bit. And as you do that, it will soften up a little bit. So really, I'm not too concerned with it. It should really fit the original hardware I made it for perfectly. And I do have the flashlight here just to show you. And this is also a tight fit. This will be a tight fit for a while. This will just take some time to kind of wear in. So yeah, there's the flashlight, and this was the tricky part, is getting the head in now. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you might have to play with this a little bit. I made it, the way I aligned this is so the head of the flashlight, the end, sits right at the tip of this inside layer, that inside liner that I made. So it comes right to, and then I technically could probably shove it in just a little bit more. But then when the flap comes over, you know, you'll have basically something that looks like that. And from that angle. I do apologize for the lighting, it is getting dark. But yeah, so that's what we got. Like I said, it does look very stiff and rigid right now, but over time it will wear nicely. So basically, a couple things I just need to finish up is the flap, cutting out each part and setting the snaps in line, and retouching, redoing some of the dye, and just making the last, for the bit kit, the last wraparound, with the elastic that will hold the two bit kits together back to back, and then on the side or kind of on the edge will have a slight little space for the extension bar to slide into, and then basically there'll be two leather flaps that use a snap device that will snap it closed, but the rest of it will be elastic just to keep it a thinner profile. And I'm gonna try to use some thinner leather on that too. But really, that piece will be stored in this pouch. Yeah, this pouch. So even with the thin elastic and the thinner leather, you really shouldn't have too much concern about durability. As long as it's kept in here, it's not really gonna get caught or anything or scratched up a whole lot. And it should work fine. The way I have it, the way I have it envisioned, it should be pretty durable. Anyway, so I just wanted to give you that update, David. I do apologize. It is taking a little bit longer than I thought. So yeah, I hope you're happy with the design so far. I will start working on these flaps hopefully tonight, and I'm thinking I should have it done within a day or two. Really, once I get the flaps done, I will want to burnish, and smooth out the edges and smooth out the edges right here. So on each flap, I'm gonna spend some time doing that too, and then we should be good to go. Anyway, if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Basically, just trimming up and putting that elastic leather keeper together for the bit kit. All right, take care. Have a good day. Bye.